Hello, hello. Welcome to the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 339. I'm Abbas.
And I'm Nainika.
And lo and behold, once again,
Say the
it's
line.
us.
Say it.
Say the line. Yes, when the guards are away, the inmates will play.
Well, yes.
And your two favorite inmates are back again.
Favorite, quote unquote.
Yeah, sure. Don't you see how much amazing what's the opposite of hate mail? Appreciation mail that we
Love
get.
letters?
Love letters,
You're
yeah.
fielding a lot of love letters.
It's a lot of love letters, yes. Back in my day, I used to get them a lot, Nainika, but not so much anymore.
Sorry, I missed out on the
No, I'm
trade.
aging myself.
Abbas is quite the player. But okay, let's get into what we're watching this week. Come on, Abbas, tell us.
Yes, so we'll be discussing the big ticket movie that came out on Republic Day, which was Fighter, starring Hrithik Roshan, Deepika Padukone, Anil Kapoor, and a lot of other artists, which Nainika will enlighten us about.
Yes.
The film was it had a very jingoistic trailer. So I've heard mixed things from people who've seen the movie. I'd love to know what Nainika thought about it. I wasn't able to catch it, unfortunately. We'll be talking about the controversial trailer of Monkey Man, which is Dev Patel's directorial debut.
Yes.
Very interestingly, it had some controversy about whether Netflix wanted to release it or not. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll review the trailer because that's what is out so far. We'll talk about another romantic comedy.
Yes,
is that
it's
what
a
it is?
It's a standard rom-com. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not many of those around anymore.
Yes.
So we'll talk about Anyone But You. It stars that the girl from
Euphoria.
High School show, Euphoria. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney, yes.
Sydney Sweeney, yeah. So we'll talk about Anyone But You. Again, that's something that Danica was able to catch, but I wasn't. And we'll talk about a true crime show called American Nightmare, which I was able to catch. It's a pretty scary show, so I'll talk about that. And to put the cherry on top, Nainika is going to put her touch on the episode by talking about the recently concluded Paris Fashion Week.
Yes, which nobody cares about except for me, but Priyali is kind enough to let me blabber about things I want to talk about. So all of you will be forced to listen. So please strap in. I also made Abbas look at the show and look at the clothes. So we will get his opinion in as well, as somebody who's a novice to the fashion world, I guess.
Very much so, yeah. I'm sitting in a worn down t-shirt and jeans, so very much
but
so.
We would love to hear your opinions nevertheless. So
I have my opinions about them. But I have to say, Nainika, because of you, I've at least started noticing, like whenever I read somewhere that's very Balenciaga, I kind of weirdly, vaguely get what they mean now.
See, we're recording all this while culturally, we're really. You introduced me to your culture, which is Marvel movies, and I introduced you to fashion.
My culture is in decline, unfortunately. But let's start with the main topic. Not main topic, but like the big movie that was out, which was Fighter. Nainika, you saw it.
I saw it.
I should mention Siddharth Anand exactly a year ago, on last year on 26th January released Pathaan, which was a massive hit. I'll just quickly read the synopsis. So Fighter is directed by Siddharth Anand. It stars Hrithik Roshan, Deepika Padukone and Anil Kapoor with references to the 2019 Pulwama attack, Balakot airstrike and Indo-Pak border skirmishes. It follows the story of a new unit commissioned by the Air Headquarters called the Air Dragons. That's what they're called.
Which is a cheesy as hell name, so you can imagine what to expect from the rest of the movie. That sets the tone.
So since you brought up cheesy, right? So obviously anyone who's seen the trailer or even seen the posters, you can see it's directly lifting from Top Gun, right?
Yes,
Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
They have a flight academy and there's like one hard ass teacher and the students are like, quick-witted and do not care about authority as much, and they develop like a team bond. So it was supposed to be about Top Gun Maverick. And the thing is, Top Gun Maverick is also very jingoistic in the sense that the movie, when it gets into its nitty-gritties, they have an enemy, quote unquote, but they never specify who the enemy is. And as I said, right, a lot of action movies do that thing where there is an enemy, but the concept of enemy is so nebulous because it's just, you don't examine the moral nature of the enemy or why they're doing something. They're just evil. So it just like gets in the way of any actual analysis, which is the same, which is what Top Gun did as well. But the thing is, the rest of the movie was slick and well made and good looking enough to make up for the fact that ideologically it didn't put its best foot forward. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about Fighter. So
okay, so from what I've learned from my friends, there's like couple of themes which have come out.
yeah,
One of that was that, you know what, the trailer made it seem like it's going to be out and out propaganda, but
yeah,
that's not what it is. Most of the like inflammatory stuff, if you want to call it that, is in the trailer itself, and on
correct,
the whole, the film is decent-ish, is what
right.
what I've learned. The other is that this is some of the best VFX that they have seen in a Hindi film. So, would you forgive a film's thematic elements if you don't agree with them, if it's visually arresting? Did you find it visually
See,
arresting?
I found Top Gun very visually arresting, and I did forgive it for, like, just being like downright military propaganda, which the original
Mm-hmm.
Top Gun movie was. I think like military recruitment
Yeah, yeah.
numbers
I
went
think
up.
they are very clearly, I think, against they name drop the Russian army, or they name
Yeah,
Russia as the
so right,
enemy.
so
Yeah,
this was again, I mean, it's not like it wasn't there. It was very clear that Pakistan was the enemy in question, which it every
right.
time is, because that's the only enemy you have.
You know what? Surprisingly, and again, I haven't seen Fighter, so I can't compare it. The CGI for Tejas is very bad,
Hmm.
and it has some ridiculous things. It also has this very jingoistic thing of we'll take off the plane
The
from
only
Pakistan and show
thing
them.
I've
But
seen.
you know what the film does,
Hmm.
and I was surprised by this, is that Kangna's best friend in the academy is
Hmm.
played by a girl who's a Muslim.
Okay.
All right, and actually, she gets the final blow to kill the terrorist. Kangna doesn't even get that.
Okay.
And when she's about to, of course, the portrayal of the terrorists is very, very
Correct.
stereotypical, and
Correct.
they're saying Allahu Akbar before beheading
Right.
people, and all of those
Right.
sort of dog whistling is there. But before, I mean, this is the kind of straws that we are holding on to now.
No, so that's the
that
point, right?
no,
Nobody.
so the thing is that just before killing the terrorist, he says something like "Ya Allah" or something,
हाँ.
and the Muslim character says कि Allah को मत याद कर, वो तो तेरे जैसों को देखता ही नहीं,
Hmm.
or something, and then she
Hmm.
kills off the terrorist,
Hmm.
right? So I was very surprised that, actually, considering Kangna is the lead and she's the karta dharta of this film, the final kill actually goes to that good
Transferred to
Muslim
somebody else.
character. Yes.
See,
And
again.
surprisingly, the film is very much about, so there's this whole thing where should we send male officers or female officers for the mission?
Hmm.
And there's this whole thing where Kangna says, okay, we should stand up. It's about time women take the lead and everything, like that kind of thing, which is very cheesy and everything. But I was like, okay, it gets those two quote unquote progressive values check mark. Now, the third act of the film is about an attack at the Ram Janmabhoomi site, which we will ignore. Okay.
Okay, so again.
But so where does Fighter rank in
Coming
like
back to
that?
Fighter. So Fighter has very similar elements. The Muslim pilot at some point, he's quoting the Quran in front of the terrorists. And the other guy is like,
Oh
why are you
yeah.
quoting the Quran to the terrorists? It's not like this guy will ever have read the Quran or anything of the sort. So the whole deal
Right.
is about, nobody wants to outright come and say that I'm a
Yeah.
terrible person and I hate a sect of people because they belong to that,
Correct. Yeah.
belong to a
Yeah. Yeah.
particular religion. Everybody in their mind wants to be the great guy that's like, I'm very egalitarian. I will accept any exceptions to that rule if
हाँ.
they continue to
कि भाई
permit
अच्छा
good
भी तो
behavior.
दिखाया है, देखो ऐसा
Yes,
थोड़ी
like
है.
if they keep showing good behavior, then I have no problem with them, but they never
Yeah.
examine what the essentially it like somewhere in the Caribbean, really blue water, really tanned actors who are really fit, wearing like very
Oh,
skimpy clothes.
बेशरम रंग
Yeah,
essentially
all
again.
of that. Like the war also had a similar song, Jawan also had a similar song, and this movie also has a similar
Yeah.
song. So the true Siddharth Anand motive is not a movie about war, but it is a beautiful item song at a beach location where everyone's wearing
Yeah.
a ton of bronzer.
It's about holidaying on a beach after the war.
Absolutely, exactly. It's not about the war. It's about the holiday after the war.
Okay, quickly tell me, how was Hrithik Roshan? It was his 50th birthday, and this film was
God,
considered a celebration of Hrithik, comeback of Hrithik Roshan.
Come back, sure. So I will preface this by saying I used to have a huge crush on Hrithik Roshan when I was young.
Okay,
And because he was
sure.
such a beautiful, I was like really young, but I was like, oh my God, he's so attractive. And then, yeah, everybody just, that's the point, right? Nobody wants to do like normal chill movies anymore. Everybody wants to build their prowess on screen through looking as manly as possible, because that's
I mean,
everybody's
but
aspiration at
to
this
be fair, the
point.
guy has like 16 abs. He can't do like a chill movie. He has to do
Sure,
something
he has
where
to,
those
like,
abs.
like he has to lift up his shirt and show us
Yeah,
that
yeah.
those abs are in work. But like, you can do like a rom-com. You get as many like options to take off your clothes there. But or you could do like horror and somehow remove your clothes in that. I don't know, figure that out. But point is that the only myth making people can do at this point is through.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the trailer that we're talking about, which is Monkey Man.
Yes.
So Monkey Man is the directorial debut of Dev Patel, and it's produced by Jordan Peele. Monkey Man features Patel in an action-packed role with Shobita Dhulipala, Makarand Deshpande, and Sikandar Kher, among others. The film will release in the US on April 5, 2024. Whether it will release in India or not
is still a question.
A big question. Yeah. So this trailer actually came out of seemingly nowhere. I had no idea
but
Dev
before
Patel was directing the
trailer, before we get into the trailer, Abbas, what do you think of Dev Patel?
I like the guy. So when Slumdog Millionaire came out, I thought he was like one of those
one-hit wonder.
There was this not one-hit wonders, but there was this wave of British and American brown actors trying to fit in as Indian.
Correct.
Where I was like, they don't know the language. They have English and British accents, but for whatever reason, they get thrust into this. They become the darlings of Indians everywhere.
Correct. So because they had international recognition. Yes. Is that the reason? Yeah.
I was a little skeptical of him, but over the years, I think I've really begun to like him. I think he's genuinely got he's the kind of guy you root for in a movie when you see him. I think he's done a couple of good some really good roles, and he's not been in a position. He seems like a smart guy. He's not put his foot in his mouth at any point during an interview or wherever. He seems like he knows his roots and also the privilege that he comes from. So I really like this his portrayal of David Copperfield that came out I think in 2021. I think he was really good in that. So and he did this film called Green Knight, which is a fantasy film which was really good.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things about it. So
it's a really well done film. So over the years, my opinion about him has changed, and it seems like he's the kind of guy who likes serious cinema and good cinema. So I was very intrigued when I saw his name in the director chair. I was like, this seems like it's going to be fun.
That's a very underrated point you made about, the people that we watch or the people whose movies we watch, whether they have good taste or not. And I think that's an interesting thing to explore. But that's for later, I guess.
So let me just fill in our listeners and our viewers about the sort of
plot of the
not the slightly controversial aspect of the film. So it was produced by Jordan Peele, and then the day the trailer dropped, Jordan Peele I think released a statement where he said that Monkey Man was actually supposed to debut on Netflix. It was supposed to be a straight to streaming movie.
I saw.
But he saw a cut of the film, and without going into details, he says that he brought the film over for theatrical distribution. And instantly, I thought, like, why would Netflix give Jordan Peele
a movie
a movie? And if he bought the movie over by paying a lot of money, usually these statements include the figure that he bought the film for so and so millions of dollars. So I was like, and I saw the trailer. So the trailer is, the film seems to be set in Mumbai, in the slums of Mumbai. It's being essentially the one line sort of cheap sort of description of it is it's Indian John Wick.
Yeah.
Where, there's one guy taking out a lot of people. Sikandar Kher apparently plays the bad guy. There's a lot of religious imagery. Of course, the film is called Monkey Man. So there's a lot of Hanuman imagery.
Yes.
And there's one little scene where there seems to be a political rally going on with a lot of saffron flags and people getting riled up. So when I saw that, I thought ki either it's one of the two things, someone somewhere took offense and Netflix let go of it, or something happened. And lo and behold, the next day,
the next part of the controversy came out.
Okay, before we move on, I have an announcement, which is that Newslaundry is turning 12. And we have a lot of stuff planned for you, but more importantly, we want to hear from you. Tell us in less than 150 words why you pay to keep news free. We'll feature the quotes over social media, emails, and our website. When we started, everyone doubted us, but you have proved them wrong. We want to use this opportunity to spread the hashtag #PayToKeepNewsFree message and nudge more people to pay for news. You can fill the form in the show notes or email us at subscription@newslaundry.com.
Journalism at Newslaundry is powered by the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.